Shotgun Saturday Night was a WWF television program that debuted at the very beginning of 1997. Much like ECW Hardcore TV, the original Shotgun shows aired on syndicated television channels throughout the United States, anywhere between 11 PM and 3 AM. The premise of Shotgun was to be a much more edgier wrestling show in comparison to WWF Monday Night Raw. To give Shotgun a more unique look, the original shows were held in unconventional locations around New York City, from nightclubs to train stations, and while many dismiss Shotgun Saturday Night as another failed experiment from the World Wrestling Federation, I always have an appreciation for wrestling companies who try something different like this, especially when it comes to venues and show formats, so I actually quite liked the original show concept. Shotgun Saturday Night would eventually become another arena show that was taped before or after Monday Night Raw, replacing Superstars as the WWF's main B show. But the first few episodes of Shotgun were definitely interesting, and there's a few matches that took place on Shotgun that might surprise you. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at every Shotgun Saturday Night broadcast in 1997 that happened inside a unique venue. There's around 6 episodes to cover. Keep in mind too that most of the video footage you're going to see today was taped on VHS. These shows have not been re-uploaded to the WWE Network as of yet, and honestly I don't see them getting released anytime soon. So this was the best quality I could find of these early episodes. Shotgun debuted on January 4th, 1997. The very first show took place inside the Mirage Nightclub in New York City, and the show would initially run for 60 minutes, including commercials. The debut episode starts off with Bob Backlund screaming that this is all one big disgrace and the show should be banned, while fans queue up outside the venue. The show's opener then plays, and it features Shawn Michaels dancing on a taxi, Bob Backlund going nuts in Times Square, WWF employees arriving at the venue. We even see The Undertaker in his biker gear in early 1997. Our commentary team for Shotgun consists of Vince McMahon and Sonny. Todd Pettengill is also in attendance, and the whole vibe that's given off during the first few minutes of the show is very, very unique. You gotta remember where the WWF was during this time period and how the company had played it relatively safe throughout the previous year. Shotgun was definitely an effort to bring a more gritty and mature WWF show to fans at home. There's even inspiration from ECW here, right down to the syndicated time slots. The Headbangers are in the opening match, working as the Flying Nuns, and people have incorrectly stated that this was the WWF debut of Mosh and Thrasher. The Headbangers had already had a televised match the month prior on WWF Superstars. The Flying Nuns are able to defeat the Godwins here in the very first match on Shotgun Saturday Night thanks to their manager Brother Love. But a few things here before continuing on. First, the ring was tiny. The WWF didn't usually deviate from their standard 20x20 squared circle, so it's weird seeing the Superstars work inside a smaller ring. The WWF also used yellow ring ropes, which wasn't very common back then, and there was also no hard camera used throughout the bout, giving Shotgun a unique presentation style when it came to the action inside the ring. After the opening match and after Brother Love and the Flying Nuns cut a promo, music begins playing in the club as Todd Pettengill says hello to a few stars sitting at the tables. Rocky Maivia is here, you can briefly see Salvatore Sincere dancing in the background, and Marlena is also in attendance with Goldust. Bob Backlund confronts Marlena about how Shotgun Saturday Night shouldn't be on TV, and this leads into our next match. It's the Sultan vs Goldust. This Sultan vs Goldust match was okay, it's the finish that everyone remembers. Marlena gets on the apron and she flashes the Sultan. Sultan breaks the camel clutch he had locked in and Bob Backlund goes absolutely crazy. This was a moment that got replayed frequently on WWF Raw. It was used to try and hook viewers into watching this brand new TV show every Saturday night, and it also gave us an example of how the WWF were trying to make Shotgun a more mature TV show. Sonny says that Marlena's stunt was nothing. Sonny has recorded her own adult home movie, and she's going to share it with everybody next week on Shotgun Saturday Night. The WWF superstars, including the quote mini wrestlers who'll be working tonight's show, are then seen dancing, and Jim Cornette looks like he's having a real bad time tonight. Speaking of Cornette, a little later on, we saw Jim escorting Mini Vader to the men's restroom. Mini Vader didn't use the bathroom before getting on the bus to New York City. Ahmed Johnson took on Crush in the next match, and it was Ahmed who first used the unique venue to his advantage. Not only did Ahmed clear the top rope when performing a jumping clothesline, but he also hit a Pearl River plunge on top of a car. D'Lo took the bump, and again, this was replayed frequently on WWF Raw. Mini Vader then took on Masquerita Sagrada in the main event. Yeah, there was nothing conventional about this show at all. And Sagrada ended up getting the pinfall victory after performing a missile dropkick. Mini Vader then shows his gratitude to Jim Cornette afterwards by tripping him up and removing his trousers to end the show. All in all, the action inside the ring may not have been great during the debut episode of Shotgun, but the presentation is definitely interesting, and seeing the WWF trying to lean into content more suited to older viewers is very intriguing too. Keep in mind that this was months and months before the WWF officially announced their Attitude Initiative too. Alright, so many of you already knew what happened on the first episode of Shotgun, so let's take a look at episode 2. This one took place in the All-Star Cafe, and we see footage of the flying nuns getting arrested by undercover cops at the beginning of the show. The nuns got scooped outside the Disney store. Mark Merrow battles the fake Diesel to start this one off. Nothing special going on really. Sable slaps a cake into Glenn Jacobs' face. Rocky Maivia comes out to help Merrow when the fake Razor shows up. The Rock had a little slip here too. And later on in the match, the Honky Tonk Man came out to bother Merrow's valet. This costs Merrow the match, and the Wild Man blames Sable. Rocky comes back out and there's a fight between the future Great One and Marvelous Mark Merrow. This felt more like a standard WWF bout in comparison to last week's Shotgun matches. The Nation of Domination then come out. Farouk vs Savio Vega is next, and Vince McMahon reminds us that Sonny's home video is gonna air very soon. Again, this was a typical WWF match here, no shenanigans going on. Farouk wins with a spinebuster. It's now time for Sonny's home video, and this was pretty silly. Sonny is lying on a bed with her favourite Christmas present, a Tickle Me Elmo doll. In walks a giant Elmo in a thong ready to do some dirty deeds, and apparently it was Todd Pettengill under the costume. Fondle Me Elmo is quite eager to get down to business. The lights go out. Elmo does what's best for business. The lights come back on and Elmo has destroyed Sonny and the bed. Elmo then can't find his pants and he realises his little Elmo is also missing. You then begin wondering what the hell you just watched as Shotgun Saturday Night episode 2 continues on. The Honky Tonk Man then sings a song inside the All-Star Cafe and Todd Pettengill joins in. Todd is actually way better than the Honky Tonk Man.
The girls call him honey, the guys call him king. He can wrestle, play guitar, plus dance and sing. Now he's back.
Kick 'em in her butts all over the place. Champ such a pretty face, so watch out.
Yeah!
The fake Razor Ramon and Rocky Maivia then had a match that Rocky won with his devastating shoulder breaker. And Todd then goes outside to talk about New York real estate. It's a cardboard box. He begins giving us a tour of this cardboard box home when Nikolai Volkov pops up, telling the Toddster to fuck off. Back in the All-Star Cafe, the Headbangers have a match with Doug Furnace and Phil LaFawn. That's right, the Flying Nuns were arrested, so the Headbangers are here instead. Vince McMahon makes an announcement before the match.
It's official. Goldust is pregnant. Yes.
Check that out.
There you see it on the cover.
Okay. We don't get to see the ending of this week's main event. The show ran into overtime and so the match fades to black while the competitors are still working inside the ring. Just like the first episode, don't watch this broadcast of Shotgun for the wrestling that takes place, but do watch it for all the other nonsense going on in between matches. Shotgun Episode 3 moves away from New York and into San Antonio, Texas. This is the night before the 1997 Royal Rumble, and we've replaced house music and club goers with Doc Hendricks and Todd Pettengill line dancing to country music. The first match was an interesting one, Rocky Maivia versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Their very first singles match together. What a rivalry these two would end up having. Jake Roberts throws his snake into the ring during the match, and the bout comes to an end when Marlena distracts Hunter, allowing the pregnant Goldust to hit the ringside area. Hunter runs off and Maivia wins via countout. Pettengill, Sonny and Hendricks then do a little bit of line dancing in front of Vince McMahon and Jim Ross as Shotgun goes to commercial break. When we come back, we've got Mini Mankind and AAA wrestler Venom taking on Masquerada Sagrada and Hysteria, another AAA superstar. Just want to point out the lower thirds here where the WWF tried to be funny. Mini Mankind, how big is his pallbearer? And Sagrada, 2 parts tequila, 1 part lime juice. And apologies again for the bad video quality here. Steve Austin joins the commentary team and he talks about throwing 29 pieces of trash over the top rope in tomorrow's Royal Rumble match, and our tag team bout comes to an end with Hysteria hitting a sit-down powerbomb on Venom. Terry Funk then makes a surprise appearance and he wants to fight. Funk is going to take part in the Royal Rumble tomorrow night, but he wants to start early. He looks around for someone to beat up, and he finds Stone Cold Steve Austin. After talking some smack at the commentary table to the Rattlesnake and Vince McMahon, Steve Austin decides to get in the ring, and we get to see Funk and Austin squaring off. The fight, unfortunately, wasn't great. Austin gets in a few right hands and Funk falls out of the ring. Farouk then had a match with Jesse James. This was the Road Dogg's big chance to sing With My Baby Tonight inside a real country bar, but his microphone doesn't work. James had a really tough time getting used to the smaller ring during this bout. Either that or he was just having a real bad off day. In the end, Farouk wins with a dominator. The main event for this episode was a match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Goldust. Nothing much to say here. Terry Funk came back out and the match ended in a disqualification. There was a small preview of the Royal Rumble inside the ring, while Funk and Austin fought in the crowd. The fourth episode went back to New York, this time inside the Webster Hall, and we've got Bret Hart versus Mankind in our opening matchup, the only televised one-on-one match between the Hitman and Mick Foley. Owen Hart provides commentary for this match, and it's easily the best shotgun match of the first few episodes. The two men fight around the ring, they fight in the crowd, and the match is given a good 13 minutes before Bret Hart puts Mankind in the sharpshooter. Owen Hart causes a DQ finish in the end, and Mankind makes himself feel better after the bout by visiting the female podium dancers in attendance. The crowd chanted BWO and Rocky sucks during the Savio Vega vs Rocky Maivia match. Savio won via countout here, and Vega showed a much more aggressive ring style, seeing as he had just joined the Nation of Domination. The Nation attacked Rocky after the match. Jake the Snake is going to wrestle Salvatore Sincere next. Triple H provides commentary for this one, and Jake definitely isn't in good shape for this matchup. He looks bad, he wrestles bad, and this would turn out to be Jake's final televised WWF match ever. It's pretty hard to sit through, and the fans boo Jake even when he pulls off his DDT finisher. The main event featured Psycho Sid taking on Crush, and Sid got himself disqualified when he used a steel chair. The highlight of this episode though is the rare Bret Hart vs Mankind matchup. It's actually really good too, so hunt this one down when you get a chance. Episode 5 takes place on the 1st of February 1997, and we're back in the Mirage Nightclub. Paul Bearer and Vader can't find Mick Foley anywhere, but Mankind shows up across the road. Mankind says after the women he saw last week, he can't wait to get inside the Mirage Nightclub and see what wonders are inside. Vader takes on Ahmed Johnson in the opening match. Mick Foley joins Sonny and Vince McMahon on commentary, and the match ends when Mankind hits the ring with a steel chair. Ahmed ends up using the chair on Vader. Davey Boy Smith was then supposed to take on Aldo Montoya, but the Bulldog attacks Mankind at the commentary table. A Mankind vs Bulldog bout takes place, and just like the Hart match last week, this one isn't bad at all. Plenty of fighting around the ring and plenty of ridiculous bumps from Mick Foley. Vader ends up helping Mankind and scoring the pinfall win. We see Henry Godwinn checking out some podium dancers after coming back from a commercial break. We then see the headbangers pouring hot wax on themselves just because. And then Savio Vega cuts a promo inside the ring where he talks about only caring about himself and the Nation of Domination. Jesse James interrupts the promo, we get another match, and Savio ends up beating the real Double J. The Godwinns have a match next against the Headbangers, but Henry and Phineas are too busy watching the dancers inside the Mirage Nightclub. They eventually make their way down to the ring, and quick side note, Mosh threw up on Thrasher just before this match. The video feed got cut off when it happened though. The broadcast also ends when the Headbangers and the Godwinns begin fighting on the outside, but I guess it was a double countout. The next episode of Shotgun Saturday Night took place in Penn Station, and this would turn out to be one of the most unique venues ever for a WWF event. I wish this would get added to the 2K video games. The superstars use a staircase as an entranceway throughout the entire night. The show opens up with Farouk and Crush defeating the Godwinns, and the crowd who showed up at Penn Station really got into the opening contest. Hunter Hearst Helmsley then showed up via limousine. Triple H is going to defend his IC title against The Undertaker, and there's many people out there who'll remember this matchup. The action was pretty good inside the ropes, but The Undertaker gets himself disqualified after using the title belt as a weapon. The two men then fight all the way up the stairs, and The Undertaker gives Hunter a tombstone at the top of the escalators. Hunter's lifeless body then travels back down to the crowd, and the audience goes nuts. This is probably the match that people think of when they think of Shotgun Saturday Night. Moving on, Aldo Montoya takes on Savio Vega next in a singles match. Because the Nation and the Godwinns got involved, the match was changed into a 6-man tag. Savio Vega pinned Aldo to score the win. Phineas Godwinn chases the Nation afterwards, and this has to be a rib. Phineas goes to slop D'Lo, but he aims at Pat Patterson. You can tell by Pat's reaction afterwards that this wasn't scripted. This was Vince and the boys playing a prank on the first ever IC champion. Episode 7 on the 15th of February 1997, we can skip this one because it's pretty much a best of episode, showing some highlights from the past episodes of Shotgun Saturday Night. We do get this clip of The Undertaker on an Amtrak train though.
Welcome to Amtrak's Night Train to Hell.
And that was it for the unique locations of Shotgun Saturday Night. The following week it was all taped arena matches and replays from Monday Night Raw, and the whole concept of Shotgun Saturday Night was changed into a much more safe and familiar WWF program. Why the show was cancelled in its original format, who knows. It did look like a logistics nightmare, and maybe it made more financial sense to tape matches inside arenas before and after WWF Raw, but it's a shame too because the initial Shotgun Saturday Night episodes felt very unpredictable. There's some gold to be found here too, from the Undertaker vs Helmsley match and the Mankind vs Bret Hart match, and seeing Terry Funk make a surprise appearance just before the 1997 Royal Rumble was pretty good too. That brief Steve Austin and Terry Funk encounter was very good, and it's a real shame more couldn't have been done there, but still. Shotgun Saturday Night represented a time when the World Wrestling Federation wanted to get with the times and appeal to older audiences. The original ECW invasion also happened right after these Shotgun broadcasts, so you can see the WWF were willing to try new things in order to be competitive. It really was an interesting time in professional wrestling. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Shotgun shows. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.